Live, and I'm gonna give it a few more seconds before I jump right into the topic. Give it just a few more seconds. I want to start slowing down a little bit and letting some people come in. And if not, I'm gonna just get started and y'all just catch up later, even if it's after the live is ended, because I don't want to lose my train of thoughts. So I'm gonna go ahead and start. So I want to talk about 7 signs the narcissist is cheating in your face. And a lot of these signs, y'all might say, well, that's anyone who cheats, not just a narcissist. But what sets the narcissist apart, what makes it a little different, is that the narcissist is so grimy with it, so inconsiderate of your feelings. It's like they get sloppy and they don't care, how it makes them look. So that's what makes it different when a narcissist cheats, aside from any other person who cheats. So, want to get into it. These 7 signs that a narcissist is cheating in your face. And I just wrote the signs down. Okay. Number 1, the phone. They love to latch on to that phone. They are addicted to that phone. They can't put that phone down for a good 30 minutes. If they go to the restroom and they realize they left the phone in another room or something, they will panic and they will get that phone and go back to the restroom with it. And I know a lot of people have a habit of taking their phones in the restroom with them, but we're talking about a narcissist. I want to keep the topic strictly on them and the signs of them cheating in your face. So with that phone, the narcissists do so much with the phone. A lot of times they don't use the real contact in the phone. They will pretend that it's somebody else. They will put, like granny or something by a number or something like that, because they're not going to think a person's going to check their phone, and you may have been the type of partner who really didn't pay attention to that. You really didn't care to check behind the narcissist and, their phone activity. But I can tell y'all, I'm going to put y'all up on the game with it, because I done been there. And I'm talking, this goes way back over 20 years ago when they really had just started using cell phones. The narc, they will put a fake contact name, by the number in the phone. They will delete messages. They will delete messages. They may even have like a burner phone, a phone that you don't even know anything about. So if they do kind of leave their phone around freely and they don't put a code on it and stuff like that, it's probably because they have a burner phone. They have another phone, so they don't care if you look in the one that it seems like they use a lot, like their primary phone, because they are already hiding the other phone somewhere. They may keep it in the car all the time, somewhere hidden in the car, because they know you're not going to search for it, because they already covered their tracks, and then they're going to make themselves look innocent around the house. But when you're out in public, let me tell you how they do. They will leave and go to the car, and you'll be wondering, like, why you keep going to the car? Because they're going to check their phone. They're going to check their phone to see, about the person who's been calling them, texting them, who they're cheating with, the new supply. So that's some of the things they do with the phone when they are cheating, right there in your face, like right under your nose, and you don't even realize it. Another thing they do, they don't use apps. They use the browser. And I know someone who does this, and he is a serial cheater. I know a guy who does this. He cheats on his wife, and he's wide open with it. Like, all of his female co-workers know of his bad habits. And he think it's a game. He think it's something that he's been able to get away with for so long that it shouldn't even be an issue. But it's bad. It's so bad that a narcissist will get to the point, and not saying that everyone who cheats is a narcissist, obviously not. But when a narcissist cheat, they get to the point they get sloppy. They don't care who knows, they don't care who's around. They get loud with the conversations. They don't care who hear them. You know, what else they do with that phone? So yeah, and you may be like, so you may question a late night phone call. Like you getting a call at 2 in the morning from your granny, and they may be like, well, granny, she's still trying to learn the phone. Okay, but she had the phone a long time. No, she got another phone. It's just the same number. They're going to hurry up and try to cover their tracks. And what it is that that person is calling 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you know, and they're going to always have something to say to answer to it so that you get off the subject. And so you may just be like, okay, well, I think you need to call back because it could be someone else calling from her phone. Something might have happened. So you're worried and you trying to find out, well, why would your granny be calling? And they want you to just leave it alone and go back to sleep. That's how they are with those phones. So those are some of the signs of a narcissist cheating with their phone. Now, clothes. Narcissists, they will change their style based on who they've been around. They may have met new supply, and of course they love to copy and paste. They're jealous of other people's styles. And you are familiar with this person because you're with them all the time. So you know that that's not how they get down. They don't normally dress a certain way. And when you suddenly start to see a change in the way they dress, the way the way they may cut their hair or something, or the way she may be, just different things that they're doing different now, of course you're going to question it. And the narcissists, when they feel like that you are kind of too much on them, when you putting too much heat on them, they will get angry. They'll get angry and, try to gaslight you into saying stuff like, well, they'll gaslight you by saying, so I can't look nice, so now you're angry because I'm trying to look nice. So that's to take you off the subject. That's to make you feel bad for questioning them when you have every right to. And then on top of that, why would they get so angry? Why would they take it the wrong way if they just decided to go and update the wardrobe? Like, it's not that serious for them to get that mad about it, which goes to show that it's more to it than what they're doing. There's something behind that. A lot of times they may have received gifts from the new supply, clothes, whatever, shoes, cologne, stuff that you never known to them to really even care about. You just never knew that to be their style. Now all of a sudden they flaunting it around. And they got a smile on their face and they're singing songs that you're like, I thought you hated that song. And it just goes to show like how fake they are. Like, who you got that from? Who you been around? And you question it and they may look at you like, dang, could you get off me? Why I gotta be all that? You know, that's a dead giveaway. So it does goes down to the clothes, whatever they put on. Now, the third sign is they're pretend like that they have an emergency. They have to up and leave the house all in a sudden while y'all having dinner or whatever. Or while cuddle up watching TV. You Netflixing and chilling. And they gotta up and go. See, they can't just sit there and soak up that moment. It's too boring for them. They're anxious. They can't keep still. They gotta get their hands on the next best thing. They can't stop thinking about their new supply and what they may be missing out on. So they got to up and dip now on you and the family. They're not thinking that you're leaving your children behind who wants to spend time with you as well. They're so selfish, they don't care how their behavior affects people, even their own children. So yes, they will pretend like they have an emergency and they have to hurry up and leave the house, you know. And when they leave the house, you may not be able to reach them for hours. And they will just keep looking at that phone call coming in and looking at the messages, the text messages. They might, put it on do not disturb. They may just put it on silent. They may not put it on do not disturb. They may put it on silent because they put it on do not disturb. They know that that's going to trigger an argument out of you. You're going to question them like, why would you put that phone on do not disturb? And you see me call it, that's how narcissists operate. They don't care. They will be quick to use, I have an emergency, in order to get away with their dirt. And the fourth sign of narcissist is cheating in your face, is talking in codes in the front of family or company, or their friends come by the house, you know, and they show off a lot. They're not very good hosts. But what they do is expect you to wait hand and foot on everyone. And you may be all right with that. That may be your thing. You may be cool with making sure everybody's straight. You need something to drink or whatever like that. And the narcissist, in the meantime, they having that conversation, a side conversation with their boy, whatever, with their homeboy about somebody that they've met, a new supply, you know. And what'll happen is they'll be talking in codes to this friend to make it seem like, oh, we're talking about his situation or someone that he just met. That's how they do it. That's how they talk in codes right in front of you about someone who they just met. And they are actually having a hard up conversation in front of you with their friend about the person who they plan to see. They may say stuff like, yeah, so what about that tonight? Oh, girl. And what they're going to do is, again, make it seem like that the friend is the one who's planning to see another female, not them. The friend is already on to the cold talk, so, that's how I roll. Number 5, the number 5th sign that the narcissist is cheating or have found new supply in your face is they start to work odd work hours. They may change from working in daytime from the day shift to the night shift, to working an overnight shift, working the graveyard shift. This works out better for them because they don't have to worry about you checking in on them, following behind them, and questioning them because they know you at home sleep. They know that you're at home sleeping while they're out making the money to pay the bills, which they probably not doing anyway. You're probably still the breadwinner. And so if you were to question these change of work hours and shift, they may say, well, I decided to take on more hours. But you were like, but you were just saying that your check is still the same. You got the same hours, just overnight. So you kind of catch them in a lie. And the narcissists, they get mad when you catch them in a lie. And you have every right to question them because it's like, why are you playing in my face? Like, why are you trying to gaslight me into thinking that, this change is just so innocent and is normal? Like, why are you on my back about this? Because you claim that you were working such and such hour, but you came here way later, to say that you were getting off at 5 in the morning. Look like you would make it home by 5:30 in the morning based off the commute, the drive, and then there's no one on the road that time of morning like that, the way you have to make it back home. We did done the calculation. And so I thought I had a comment. And so what happens is, the narcissist will claim, they'll use the excuse that they were offered overtime hours. Okay, so you gonna remember that the next pay period, the next pay date. Oh, this check should be nice. I know you happy. This is your overtime hour. They might be like, you keeping up with that? Well, you're keeping me up with it. And that's their way of covering their tracks. And they think that you're not going to remember everything that they told you. And once you bring it back up to them, it's a problem. And not that everybody don't do that. Everybody don't question their partner and work hours and, just break it all the way down to the minutes, while they're at work. People don't always do that. But with narcissists, it's like they're always trying to convince you to believe me, believe me. So, of course, that's going to be in your mind and it may come back up at a later time because it's like you're fact checking them. Okay, I just made a statement. This should be a really nice check for you. You should be happy this payday because you put in all that overtime. And they'll be like, man, this check's so small. Well, you need to go and check them about that. Because I know you want your money. And the whole while they weren't at work all their time. They may have even cut the hours during the day, worked a few hours overnight, and spent the rest of the time with the new supplier. You can't put nothing past a narcissist, especially when they are out of sight. So that was number 5. This is the number 6 sign that a narcissist is cheating on you or have made new supply. Receipts. You may start to notice, you know, bags of clothes from the mall or something like that. You may start to notice that things are starting to look like, you may notice things that the narcissist is bringing home and they're just kind of throwing it to the side. They don't want you to see it, but you're going to end up running across it if you're cleaning, or you just looking because it's in your house and you have the right to know what's in your house. So you're like, oh, okay, babe, what's this? Where you get this from? They may have a receipt in the bag and you like, I never knew you like clothes like this or something. They may get you questioning like, oh, you went to that store? Then you may be like, you went without me? You didn't consider me? That's what I mean about they get sloppy with it. They cheat in your face. They don't care. When you question them about stuff, they just want you to just let it go. Which brings me to the last one, number 6. The number 6 sign that a narcissist is cheating in your face, and there may be new supply, is when they pretend to be upset to fake an argument. Lord, when they do this takes me, now the receipts part, we're going to take it on in from that. The receipts part, when you question them, where you never think about that maybe I want something new, you know, what about the date night that you've been promising me for months and we still haven't done anything different, you know, and every time you promise me that you're going to, you know, make reservations for us to go to my favorite restaurant, you always have to cancel the reservations because something comes up. But it just seems like you're having so much fun doing whatever you want to do without me. You have every right to confront a narcissist with this. And so what happens is they will pretend to be upset. They will say, why are you questioning me? You know what you sound like? You starting to sound insecure. I can't deal with this right now. I have enough on me. And you wondering, okay, I'm your partner. Why don't I know that you have enough on you? Why does it come up when I question you about things? They do that to take you away from the conversation. So now you're digging deeper, like, so what is it that's bothering you? What do we need to talk about? Do you want to talk? They may get angry because they don't have no way to answer to that. It's just a constant game with the narcissist. And they will take it as far as it can go, as far as you will allow it. They don't care how much you question them. Because a narcissist, they'll get to the point where they will just give you the silent treatment and walk out the door. And then you trying to like, where are you going? You're questioning them. You may even try to pull them back. I am tired of you doing this. You do that out of frustration. And I'm not condoning any type of aggressiveness with your partner. Definitely not condoning violence or any in that nature, anything like that. But once a person gets frustrated with dealing with stuff like that, it's going to come a time where you're going to just kind of explode because you're tired, you're fed up, and you have every right. Sorry about that, y'all. You have every right to question it. So that's what happens. Those are the 7 signs that a narcissist is cheating in your face. They get sloppy with it. They found a new supply. They're trying to hide it from you. Same old games they've been playing forever. And you're just kind of starting to realize the pattern. So when you question it, again, it makes them angry and they fake an argument. They fake an argument that this is what I be talking about. And then you're like, what do you be talking about? And you know what they're telling you in that moment? That they are discussing you with a new supply. They no telling what they're telling a new supply. They're probably telling a new supply that they've already broken up with you. They may lie and say that she's cheating, all of the things that they do that you have, you know, caught on to, they will put it on you. The narcissist will turn it around and claim that you're doing all these things. And this is the reason why I'm with you right now. I'm trying to be with you right now. I don't want to talk about her. Or I'm trying to be with you. I'm not thinking about him. Those the type of games they play when they're cheating. They're hoovering and love bombing the new supply. They're gaslighting them at the same time because they don't want them to think that, but you're still going home to her. They don't want the narc to, they don't want the person to think that it's something sweet back at home. But they want, they treat you different behind closed doors. When they get home, it's, hey, honey, I'm home, type tease. But you're like not feeling it. You ready to go to war. You ready to question them at the door. And that's their excuse to be pushed back out the door into the arms of the new supply. So they play all type of games in the very end when they are really about to go head on and make a big move. The one that may cause the breakup, may cause a temporary separation. Because once they get tired of the new supply, they're going to try to come back with you. But when a person doesn't really understand how narcissists operate, they don't know the pattern that's about to happen. So you may keep giving them a second chance. The narcissist is going to only do what you allow them to do. I've been there and done that with a narc partner. At one time, I was finding myself feeling like, I know I'm not tripping. I know I ain't losing my mind. I was going through his phone and it was like, okay, this phone everything just seems so innocent. But I just knew, like my intuition just kept telling me he doing something. And he was. See, that was the fake phone. That was the burner phone. That wasn't a real one, and stuff like that. And this was during the time when we were still using beepers, when we were still paging each other. I'm telling you, because I think, how did that go? I had got to the point where I was so like, I just was so, I won't say insecure because I was right. I wasn't insecure. I was just curious. I was curious sometimes till I couldn't even focus, and I had made that just a normal thing to do in a relationship. Like I really find myself checking up behind him and I'm looking, it's like, what do they call it? You looking in an empty basket or something like that? Like you're looking for something that's not there, but you still know that it happens. You still know something is happening. So I found myself being in that position at one time. I was not insecure because I never been an insecure person with a narcissist. It's that they try to make you feel insecure. It's just the way that they treat a person. So some people, they do start to kind of lose who they are. You start losing your mind. Dealing with a narcissist, it really takes a toll on your mental health and everything because the longer you are with them, the worse you become. You start to think a certain way. You start to lose focus of a lot of things. And you start to behave in a way to where you're paranoid. You're always worrying, you know, and wondering what's going on, stuff like that. You may start having anxiety a lot and maybe even panic attacks because you like, I always knew you was up to something, or they covered it up so good for so long so you just kind of like was always at ease with it until you find, they slipped up and then you found something that proves it. And I'm gonna end it here. This happened to me with the ex-narc way back then. I'm telling y'all, way over 20 something years ago. This is how I found out that he cheated. He he had made a baby on me. And it was so embarrassing because the girl was my sister's schoolmate. This was someone my sister went to school with. So it was embarrassing to my sister along with myself. I was hurt behind this and the fact that he had a child with this woman. But the way I found out was when I went to his mother's house and she would leave a key under the rug, whatever like that, and I would go in, and no one's there. House nice and clean and quiet. I'm like, because family was a big thing with them. Like they had a huge family. Everybody was always there. Everybody was at the hospital to visit the baby. And I looked on the table, the dining room table, and I turned, it was a picture upside down. I turned the picture over and it was a newborn baby. The baby looked just like him, no denying that was his child. And me and that child got a good relationship, you know. And the name, when I paid attention, like at first I didn't look at the name on the back, but the baby name, you know, she had his last name. And that was wrote on the back of the picture. And y'all know how we used to take those Polaroids. And then when we stopped with the Polaroid pictures, they started doing the instant develop, you know, like you take the picture to like a drugstore or something like that and get the pictures developed. So it just goes to show you had to wait till all that film was used before you even got the pictures developed in order to, you know, have the picture of the child. That's how I found out that he was cheating. Now this go way back. Hey, occult life. Yeah, that way back. I'm talking way back to, oh, this had to be probably before 2000. But still, I'm just saying it happens. I'm just giving y'all, you know, an example of how you can find out that, you know, when you really find out, like you really get hit with the big one and there's no denying it. They can't lie anymore. All of that stuff they used to do, they can't cover it anymore, no matter what they say, you know, and all you're left with is the hurt and the pain and the tears. You know, you may have a nervous breakdown behind it because you knew you was not losing your mind. You knew you weren't, you know, like imagining things the whole while. They've been gaslighting you and like, how could you do me like this? Like, you know, all of that people go through dealing with the narcissist. Yeah, been there. We've all probably been there. Yes, it was bad. That's how I found out. I'll never forget that. That's how I found out. And they want you to just accept what they've done after so long. Sometimes they want you to accept it right away. That's why I say they get sloppy with it. They don't care about your feelings. They don't consider the damage they've done to their relationship and how they hurt you. They don't care. They just want you to just stop talking about it because now that's going to hold them accountable and they refuse to be held accountable. They're not going to, you know, they're not going to admit to guilt. So what they're going to do is tell you that you're going to have to shut it and just accept it, or I'm leaving you. And they know that that's something you don't want. But at the same time, you're going to need to see some change behavior. And you know that the narcissist is not going to change. But you didn't know then, you know, we know now, thank God. But you didn't know then. So you're going to, you know, subject yourself to more of this mistreatment because you just want things to change and you're willing to accept everything that they did. You were willing to accept that child into the family. You know, let me tell you now, I went through the 7 signs. This live was about 7 signs that the narcissist is cheating in your face. And I'm going to tell y'all another quick story right quick before I end it, where he got sloppy the second time around. He had another woman in the car. This wasn't the one who he had the child with. This is another woman that he had in the car, but he had a camera that he would not let out of his sight. And I used to be questioning that camera. Why you got a camera? Like, why are you bringing a camera home from work now? Who it belonged to? When did you get it? You know, they just start doing random things that make you question everything they do. Yeah, you say it took you 22 years to wake up. And so I just couldn't rest. I'm sitting up in the bed while he's laying next to me snoring. I'm looking on, looking at the side eye at that camera, like I'm gonna find I was in that camera. I mean, film, of course, but I'm gonna find I was on it film. Like, what you been snapping up? And Lord, I didn't. I just wish I wouldn't have. Yeah, it was bad. And it was just something that made me thought I was just like gonna never come back from that. So the thing is, they're good at hiding for so long until they see that you're willing to accept it, and then they get sloppier, and that's what starts to take you down. That's what starts to destroy you and your spirit, because now they see that you're willing to accept it, and they still try to play in your face and tell you that you tripping, you doing too much. Why are you doing this? And it's like, why were you doing everything you was doing to get me like this? So they don't care. They really don't care. I'm gonna run over those 7 signs one more time for in the live. Narcissists, they cheat with that phone. They will change their style, in terms of clothing, even cologne, perfume, whatever. When you start to see them looking different. Number 3 was they'll pretend like they have an emergency and they have to up and leave the house real quick in all hours of the night. Number 4 is talking in codes in front of company or family, and the whole while they're talking about a new supplier right there in your face. And they want you to think that they're talking to their buddy about the person that the buddy just met. The buddy be right along with them with the cold talk. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Oh, I got better. That was a long time ago. That was over 20 something years ago. It just goes to show how they don't change. Like, people can get on here who's going through that today with a narcissist, what I went through, been there and went through that with them back in 1999. Yeah, this was all this was happening between my mother died in 93. And I went through my grieving and everything, 93, 94. I met him in 95. Things moved so quick. I moved him in my house, and it's like things just started going down. I slowly started depending on him and letting him be the head, and he started started this whole transformation in my house. Like, I started to slowly see my things get pushed out the way for his. It's like all that kind of stuff they do, and it goes over our head because we don't realize what we let in. You let the whole devil in your house. And the only thing I don't regret is my 2 children with them. So yeah, that, and things it's just so much. I'm gonna do some story time sometime, but I don't be thinking y'all want to hear it because my story's so old. But at the same time, it's a familiar story because people are going through that to this day in new relationships with narcissists. So that with the baby, when he had the child on me with the other woman, let me see, I had my first child when he moved in, was 95. I was pregnant, had the child. I got pregnant in 96. I had my first child in 97, and he's about to be, in a couple of weeks, my older child is about to be 28. So it's a long time ago. I'm telling my age. And my second child was born. It's like that's when they what is it called? Trap you. He trapped me by doing that. That was all a plan. That was all a part of the plan right there. Got that baby in her, you know. And that took my mind away from, well, wait, what about everything I had always wanted? Marriage, then the baby, all that kind of stuff. So it was like that with us. And then the next baby, my second baby came, my daughter, because my first child was son, a boy, second one, girl. And I had her in 98. So I have back-to-back babies with him. And then 99, and it looked like the end of 99, the beginning of 2000 is when I found out about the baby that he had on me. So it moves fast like that with a narc. They move fast. You're not moving fast. You're trying to catch up and just kind of soak up the moment. Like, can we slow down a little bit and just enjoy life, enjoy family together, make plans? What about marriage? What about buying a home? And the narcissist, that's the furthest thing from their mind. They're not trying to have that life with you. You know, I didn't realize that stuff then. Like I'm telling y'all, a lot of this happened way before 2000. But it happened. I'm just saying. Oh, you say I don't look near my age. Oh, thank you. Well, I'm going to say I don't look like what I've been through. So thank goodness. But I appreciate that. And I was on the sign, so I said they work. Yeah, they talking codes in front of company. That's what they do. You know, they talking to the homeboy about boop bop the bang or whatever, whatever. You know, y'all know when people be saying whoop boop bop the bang. I'm like, what is y'all talking about? What type of language? That's code talk too, you know. And the whole while, I remember something come up about a black book, and they were talking in codes about a black book, and I'm just listening, trying to make sense of it. And the book wasn't black. The book was another color, and the book was just phone numbers, full of women, full of women, full of women, full of women. You know, and this just might be TMI for y'all, but you know, you don't know who you with when you with a narcissist. You not just with them, you with everybody else that they slept with, you know. I was so scared for my life at one point when I went to the doctor. You know, I hurry up and took care of my business and got myself cleared, and I just lost interest in wanting to sleep with him again. I was thankful, like that's a testimony that I was safe from anything, you know. Narcissists are into stuff, you know, all type of substances. They do that, like they live, and they don't care how it affect anybody, who they with or nothing, you know. And they bring that into your life, and they try to introduce these things to you, you know, drugs and alcohol. And I'm like, so green and innocent type, and they know these things about you. It's like they're trying to poison you, they're trying to taint you. They really do try to erase you. They don't want people to know you. And it's like, but you should look at it like, I'm grateful for this person who allowed me in their life. You know, I'm grateful. I love you. I accept you. But you never looked at me like that. You looked at me as, you know, they look at you as a threat, as an enemy, as competition. You know, your narc partner, they really do be in secret competition with you, jealousy. That's why they slowly move your things out and replace it with their things, you know, throughout the time that they're with you. All that stuff, you know. I could tell some stories now. I got some stories to tell, but I ain't gonna get too deep up in it on this one because the video too long already. So yeah, they talking codes, and number 6 is receipts. When you start to notice the, strange, you know, like different type of, not strange purchases, but stuff that you just was like, okay, who bought this? You know, and you may start looking at transactions if y'all on a joint account. But I kind of think narcissists is getting to the point where they don't even want to have a joint account no more. They want to be separated because they have to have that look. They got to keep up that single person image. So they don't even want to have anything joint with you no more. They want it to be separate so you don't keep track of the transactions. But this was back then. I noticed receipts and, you know, clothing mall, you know, the clothing store bags from the mall thrown in the back of the closet. And I'm coming across this weeks after we broke up. They don't value nothing from nobody. If they felt like their supply was nice enough to buy them something, but don't really want to mess with them, which I don't blame them, it's they gonna throw that. They're not gonna value the gift, so the gift may be thrown to the side. They don't value things anyway. And they'll use the gifts as a way to punish the person or let them know you mean nothing to me, the gift either. That's their way of devaluing. Y'all know how they are. I don't want to get too much deeper into that part. And the last one, number 7, the signs of a narcissist cheating in your face and with new supply. is they pretend to be upset and then they fake an argument. And we all know how that goes. You know, they do that kind of stuff when you question them and they know that you are right and they can't answer to it. They don't want to answer to it. They feel like that you don't have no business questioning them. They don't feel like they have to follow rules. Who are you that I got to answer to? I'm grown. You know, I'm a man. Can a man come home and have peace? And yeah, you could have peace, but why can I have peace? You throwing all this in my face, I should have the right to question it. I'm trying to make sense of what I see because I don't, to make sense of it, and make peace of it. So I'm giving you peace to do what you want, but I can't question it so that I can have peace. like, you know. So yeah, that's how they operate. And those are the signs. I think, yeah, 7 signs of the narc cheating. And we could go on and on. Like, if y'all have any stories to tell, let me know what you've been through. You know, we probably have the same experiences with the narcissist because it's crazy how they like to play in your face and then, accuse you of overreacting to the way they behave and stuff like that. Yeah, so like the video, y'all, when y'all come in. Even though I'm about to go ahead on and get off of here, I appreciate y'all for stopping by. I'll probably be back on later with another one. I'm going to let y'all know what happened right quick. 3 o'clock this morning, my daughter called me from the emergency room, my youngest grandbaby. She had a very, very high fever. Hey, you got to catch up with the live. You missed a real good one. Yeah, my grandbaby had a high fever this morning of almost 105. She was kind of like gasping for air. She was shaking. Um, and her heart rate was almost 200, and she just 6 months old. So, oh Lord, that was a lot on my daughter. It's always hard to see the baby, to see a child, that's a baby, and to see my daughter. But she all right now. Turns out that she had bronchitis after they did the test and stuff on her. So, yeah, I'm about to be checking on her real soon. I did a short video on here. If y'all check it out, and that's the baby on there, the youngest one. Um, I have her normally every other Saturday. I would have had her today, but you know, she took sick overnight, and she had bronchitis. I think she had a sinus infection, and they tested her for this. I forgot what they call it, but y'all know Haley, DDG, and his baby mama's little boy. They were sick from that a few weeks ago. They tested her for that, and everything came back negative except the sinus infection. So that's what my baby had, and she all right. She good for now. The fever is gone. The fever broke before they left the hospital. They kept her about 4 hours at the hospital, and the heart rate went down. Thank God, her heart rate was 200, but a baby's heart rate, I think the normal is between like what? I think the highest the rate could probably be 180 or something like that. So it had went down when I was on the phone with my daughter before I was, getting ready to head to the hospital. It had got down from the 200 to 187. Then it went from 187 to 178, then 176, and it kind of stayed between the 176 and 180. And then it went all the way down to like 160 something per minute, and just kind of the way it should be for her to be released from the hospital. So yeah, appreciate that. EDBD. I remember I had a hard time with that thing. EDBD. But yeah, I just been catching up on some sleep because I had meant to go live earlier, but I was asleep. I had to catch up on the sleep. She good now. I'm gonna be checking on her in a minute and my daughter. Um, yeah, so they just giving her her little medication and letting her just try to rest her little body, which she a busybody. She's not gonna rest. She's still being a Delaney. Still just being a little baby, little happy little jolly baby. So yeah, thank God for that. Praise God that, you know, she was able to be released from the hospital after they got her straight. But again, thank y'all for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Leave your thoughts down below. And I will see y'all in the next one.